you today. Thank you for coming and talking to us about your experience on the TESOL. So maybe we can just begin with you just giving me a little bit of background about yourself and then why you decided to do the course, what you were doing before it and why you decided to do the TESOL.
Okay, so my background is in design. I worked as mainly a visual merchandiser, exhibition designer for a long time, mostly in retail. As retail was beginning to change, I recognized that I needed something else. I came from the point of wanting to travel. That was my initial reason why I joined. I had heard about people teaching English abroad and thought that might be quite a good opportunity to do it. And I'd done other courses as well online, which left me with no idea of how you taught English. I was none the wiser by the end of it. And it was because I was volunteering for Talk English in Manchester that it was a colleague there that recommended your course. And yeah, it's given me everything that I wanted.
Fantastic. So when did you do the course with us, Wendy?
I think it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
it was. I think 22.
2022. Okay, yeah. So you did yours with some teaching online and some face to face, didn't you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the face to face that I wanted. Teaching online was alien to me, but I learned a lot from that.
Okay, so let's think about the course then. Obviously, it's a 14-week course. How did you find the course as you were completing it?
The breadth of the stuff that I learnt was massive. It really left me with a real good springboard to go into teaching. I think things that I hadn't really considered. One of the main things was, how do you teach English when you don't speak somebody else's language? And I know there was a module where we learned to speak another language, which was absolutely valuable. The modules, things when we learnt the differences between English and other languages, and just to recognize the massive difference. For example, Cantonese doesn't have 13 vowels, 13 consonants that we have in our language, and just that the sounds don't exist in others was absolutely new to me. Teaching face to face and getting the work experience was brilliant. Just to meet students from other countries and such warm people, and so grateful. I think overall, just actually understanding how to teach English, not having all the tools, but just sort of being able to recognize the differences and be able to understand like rhythms and all the things that I'd never really considered about languages was covered on your course. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so I mean that's a big part of it, the teaching practice. And you mentioned before that you did an online course and hadn't had much success. So what would you say are the main differences then between the TESOL and previous courses that you'd done?
I think to recognize, I suppose it comes from learning about the people and how we learn languages, the different things that make, because it's not just the words that we speak, it's the sounds, it's the body language, and to be able to recognize how difficult it is to learn another language. And to actually do the teacher training face to face, to be able to meet students and get their feedback on how you teach and all the little tips and tricks that you learn online as well. That was just kind of open the doors, whereas you could teach from anywhere as long as you have a laptop, was valuable.
Okay, that's great. So having done the course then, what tips would you give to someone who is thinking about the course? What advice would you give them for managing the workload and so on?
I think my initial, I wasn't brilliant with technology. Well, I'm okay, but things like Zoom I'd never really used. I think I sort of initially felt that I was trying to learn how to use the technology as well as trying to teach classes. And at some points it went disastrous. But I think maybe have a look at Zoom and understand how that works in the chat rooms, etc. That would have been valuable for me. Is it Moodles? That was to get a grip of that, because all the answers are in there, and I didn't use it initially because I was a little afraid of it. And once I got into it and I had a research, all the answers were there, and I was able to sort of work just to allow yourself to make mistakes along the way. And it's okay, it's how we learn. But yeah, I think keeping on top of the work is obviously, there's a lot to cover. It's a vast subject. It's a brilliant springboard to move forward and learn from, make all your mistakes while you're on the course. And yeah, I think it's just keeping on top of it. But it was great experience. I think one of the best in my life, really, when it comes to learning. I've studied at all levels. I have degrees. But yeah, it was a lot to pack in, but a great learning experience. I learned vast amounts.
Amazing. And then what did you do with the qualification? Obviously, you got the certificate at the Christmas time, I think 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then what did you do after that?
So then I went to work at a college where I work with adults that are moving from ESOL level to GCSE. So I'm kind of the gap that bridges it between, because it's a massive jump, and they need this ESOL, and they need a GCSE for qualification. So I work in that middle ground there. But I went in, so finishing in January, I then at the summer went to work in London at an international language school where we bring children from all different parts of the world to learn English. They're usually there for about 6 weeks. So it's quite intense. I was teaching 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I was there for 6 weeks. I've done that for the last 3 years. So, and I continue to work at the college, but I'm going to Thailand next week. Well, the 8th of October, not next week, 8th of October, to teach over there.
And what will you be doing? Who are you going to be teaching in Thailand?
I'm going to be I'm working in a village. The remit is to support women. I'm going to be teaching children during the day, and I'm also going to be teaching some adult classes.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're teaching locally in Manchester, you're going away.
Yes.
And did you teach in a summer school? Is that correct?
Yes.
As well?
Yeah, that's what I've done the last 3 years. I've taught in London at a summer school, which was on your recommendation. It was a fabulous way of getting into it. I just threw myself in the deep end. And actually, I did have the knowledge from only from doing your course, because I don't really have the experience previously. But yeah, I just sort of went in, and it was a massive success that I've been there the last 3 years.
So you've taught a real range. You're teaching EFL students who've come to England. You're teaching people who are living in England, and now you're going to be going abroad and teaching people English in Thailand. So you've taught the whole kind of range of the EFL kind of students. And which group have you enjoyed most, or have you found that you particularly like a certain age group, or working with certain groups of learners?
I think I personally, I like teaching adults, the people that I've met, and they're so grateful for what you do for a living, really, just teaching. It comes as obviously moving to the UK and having to learn, it's a whole new way of life. So yeah, they're very, very grateful. They're fabulous people. They always bring food and everything.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think that's one of the positives, isn't it, about the course, and then working in ESOL is all the people that you meet.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. And I suppose you've had such vast work experience working in marketing, working in fashion. Did that help you in your teaching, do you think? Has that helped?
Yeah, I think I've always been face to face. I've always worked with the public. Although, like from a design point of view, prior to that, in my early career, I came from hospitality. So I think I've always worked with people, and I think my skills sort of transferred quite naturally into teaching. So yeah, I think from any background, I think we've all got transferable skills, and it played into it. This.
Fantastic. So I think before you did the TESOL with us, what would you say was your main sort of barrier to doing a TESOL course? Was there anything that you really worried about, that you thought, I can't do this course because?
It wasn't so much where I was a little bit apprehensive about starting. Obviously, meeting new people, it's always the same, of fitting in, and hopefully I was able to study at that level. I think the technology was a bit scary for me.
Hmm.
Um, and I did make mistakes, like locking myself out of one of the classes where the teacher had gone
Yeah, well, that's
online.
how you learn.
Yeah. And I tell everybody now, it's just become so I don't think I was fearful of it. I
Hmm.
knew that the workload was going to be vast. On top
Hmm.
of I was working full time and have other commitments, kind of thing,
Hmm.
um, and it was, but the rewards were absolutely outweighed it. It was a
Yeah.
bit like as I finished it, it was almost you kind of miss it, and then but
Mm.
it actually was a brilliant springboard for me to move into a different field with enough knowledge to
Hmm.
kind of have an understanding of the background of English and
Hmm.
how others learn English and how we teach English,
Hmm.
and just really get stuck in beyond that. I just felt that once I'd achieved that, that I could do anything. It was a really, I can't explain how big it was for me in my life that that
Hmm.
course did for me, how
Yeah.
it changed. Because I was a bit scared when my other career was beginning to finish, and I didn't know what I was, what I was going to
Mm.
do. And I did want to go abroad, and I wasn't sure at my age whether it was possible. But yes, it is
Mm.
possible. And yeah, I don't fear. I don't fear that I have. I don't think I don't have the skills to succeed in
Mm.
Thailand.
Mm. Oh no, I mean that you've got 3 years experience now almost, haven't you, post
Yeah, yeah,
certificate? But I think you hit on a key point there. I think, the way the job market is changing these days. You might have work for a few years, but then things
yeah,
can change very quickly. And I think with teaching English specifically, there's such high demand,
yeah.
and you
It is.
can move into it, and you can transfer the skills that you've developed in other careers and bring them to teaching, and have a rewarding career from that.
Yeah, it is.
So I think, yeah, your story is really inspiring.
Good, hopefully. Yeah, it has been really good.
Hmm.
The people that I've met, I go to work, I absolutely love work. It is like putting a big hug around these people. They come into a new
Mm.
country. They come with their own issues as well. We're often
Mm.
dealing with people that have come from war zones or that have come from backgrounds that they've
Hmm.
left family and it's all brand new. And I sort of think if I ever had to turn up into another country without being able to speak the language, so giving back is massive in this. I kind of feel it's a privilege to
Mm.
teach them, and they're just a great group of people that you meet. Teachers alone, they're very special people, I think.
So when are you off to Thailand?
I'm going the 8th of October.
Oh my goodness, fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah. And what are you taking with you?
just a bikini. No.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm kind of sort of preparing some
Mm.
lessons or giving
Hmm.
myself, I don't want to turn up unprepared. I'm not
Hmm.
sure what to expect.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to go with the flow, really. There's a little bit of apprehension.
Yeah.
It's all brand new, but I sort of thought at my age, kids have grown up, they've got their own
Mm.
lives, and actually it's my time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
How exciting. Yeah. Well, I wish you all the best with your
thank
adventures
you.
in Thailand. You must tell us how you
I
get
will,
on.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. Nice to speak to you.